What's up everybody? My name's Dan. Welcome to Ahnestly. Today we are looking at Ikea's most expensive office chair, the Gruppspel. I think that's how you pronounce it. I checked with Google Translate. Future Dan here. I clearly don't know how to use Google Translate. The correct pronunciation is Gruppspel. And speaking of expensive, thank you to today's video sponsor, Aeron International. One of the chairs that I recommend to anyone and everyone is a used Aeron, because these older Aerons can last 20-25 years without needing a single repair. The problem is that when I made these videos on how to buy a used Aeron, the number one question I got was, hey, I'm in Europe. I'm not in the US. How do I buy a used one here? And the answer was, I don't know, because I don't live there. Well, Aeron International reached out and they told me that, hey, look, we're trying to be the hub of getting used Aerons at affordable prices into people all over Europe. So what they do is they find Aerons, they refurbish their most commonly worn out parts, they fix the parts that need to be fixed or replace the parts that need to be replaced, and then they're trying to ship it all over Europe at a relatively low price. And so if you guys are interested in picking up a used Aeron, you guys can use my link down below and use the code Ahnestly10 for 10 euros off. Let's get honest. Pro tip, Ikea tries to bundle this chair with their standing desk called the Gruppspel. Do not buy that bundle. The Gruppspel is the worst standing desk I've ever used. I'm 5'6", I'm relatively short, and at my height, that desk was extremely wobbly. Again, do not buy that desk. Who is the Gruppspel for? I believe the ideal height range is gonna be between 5'4" and 6'4". 5'4" because I'm 5'6" and my feet touch the ground very comfortably. I think there's a little bit of wiggle room for people who are shorter to have their feet touch the ground. And I say 6'4" because this thing can actually notch up, and because the back kind of narrows in here, you're not gonna feel the back digging into your shoulder blades like on a straight cut chair. Again, I'm not 6'4". I didn't have any friends that were 6'4" that could test this chair. So if you're one of my friends out there who are a tall freak of nature who has this chair, let us know down in the comments below whether or not my assessment is correct. Really quickly, guys, I found that only about 5% of the people who are watching my videos are subscribed. So if you could do me a huge favor, hit that subscribe button, like this video, leave a comment down below for the algorithm. And in an effort to bring that number up, I'm doing a $500 desk giveaway. It's an international giveaway, so after you guys are done this video, make sure you check that one out, or you guys can find the link right here. In terms of aesthetic, this is using a black/gray fabric with a red racing stripe down the middle. There is a white version with an orange racing stripe, and then there's one in top grain leather that uses black on black. And I think that's my personal favorite. However, this was the only one that my local Ikea had in stock. As always, we'll start at the bottom and work our way up. The casters on this chair are small, they're really dinky, they're rattly and loud. The only good thing that they've got going for it is that they're using a self-lock system, which means that if you don't put weight on it, it's not gonna roll away. The legs are super skinny, so if you're someone who likes to rest your feet on the legs like I do, there just isn't a lot of surface area before you slip off of them. And because they're so skinny, they can actually hurt putting pressure on your feet. In terms of under the chair functionality, it's really basic. You've got your standard vertical up and down adjustment, and then on that same handle, if you pull it out, it unlocks the back tilt so that you can lean back. Now, this is what irks me about a chair that's $300, is that this chair you cannot control the back tilt tension, which means that you can't tighten it so that it's harder to lean back. And that's really frustrating, because the ideal way that you'd wanna sit in an ergonomic setup is that you wanna sit with your back unlocked, but then you wanna tighten it so that you get into a more natural sit position like this, as opposed to being fully 90 degrees. You wanna be leaned back just a slight little bit, but because this, when you unlock it, it goes into full loosened mode, is that you can't ever sit there without putting pressure on your thighs, and it doesn't feel very comfortable. The one compensation prize, I don't know what you call it, is that you can actually lean back and then you can lock it in that position, which is really good for things like if you're watching a movie or something and you don't wanna put constant pressure on your thighs to push yourself back. This can be kind of nice, and especially if you have a footrest of some kind, this is obviously the ideal setup. The seat on this chair is a big letdown. So I mentioned before that this one is the fabric version. It does come in a top grain leather version, but to the touch, this is a lot rougher than Secretlab's Titan 2022 fabric, for example. And the cushion itself is also fairly thin, but to its credit, I sat on it for a very long time and I didn't feel the plastic or the frame on my bottom. So it's got that going. But the biggest disappointment about this seat is gonna be the bucketed nature of it. And not only does it raise on the sides, but it also raises in the back. But let's talk about these sides here. It uses a cushion all around, so you can feel cushion on these edges. However, if you were to sit in the chair and then sprawl your legs out, you can feel the frame on your thighs pretty darn easily. So it doesn't really do that much for it. And this sucks for people who just wanna like lounge and open their legs up. You can feel it and it does get uncomfortable. But the biggest disappointment is this bump in the back here. If you want lumbar support, you have to scooch all the way back in your chair. And if you do that, you will feel this bump on your tailbone. And yes, I know I've got this raised right now, but even at its lowest setting, you will feel this on your butt. You will feel this on your tailbone, and it is not comfortable. So if I scooch all the way back because I want the lumbar from the seat, the backrest, if I do that, I feel this lip touching my butt, and I really don't like that feeling, and I don't think many of you will either. The arms on this chair are also very cheap. They are totally plastic. Just listen to this. Like, there is no padding on this armrest. I will say that it's fairly stable, like it's not rocking anywhere, and the functions are pretty basic. Like, you can go up and down, it can swivel in and out, and then it can come forward and back. But yeah, I just can't believe that they didn't put any kind of cushion on this armrest, and it's not very comfortable. The backrest on this chair is okay if you can get past this. The chair is locked right now, so this is not unlocked, this is fully locked, and I made an extra effort to tighten all of the bolts, and yeah, I can't get rid of that. So the back is designed to be kind of like a sideways J, so that instead of having any kind of special lumbar support, the lumbar support is in the design. So because it curves like a J like this, in order to feel that lumbar on your back, you do have to scooch all the way back. But like I mentioned before, if you do, then you feel this loop, this lip on your bottom. You can kind of cheat though by scooching up a little bit on the chair and then cranking it up 1 or 2 times. And if you do that, then the curvature is gonna be a little higher on your back, so you can feel that back lumbar support a little bit sooner. Speaking of which, I forgot to mention this, you can crank this up a total of 5 times. And then, so that way you get a little extra height out of it for my tall freaks of nature friends out there. And if you want it to come down, you crank it a 6th time and it'll come all the way down. The downside of using the chair like that though is that you can't use the headrest as intended. And that's really unfortunate because this headrest design is excellent, but the way you use the headrest is terrible, is terribly designed. The headrest has a natural curve that fits into this neck area of the head, and the way that you can adjust it is that just like an Atlas headrest, you can adjust the X and the Y axis independently. The way you do the vertical or the Y axis is you just pull, and then you can push it down, and then the way you do the X axis is that you pull gently towards you, and you get 1 notch of adjustment, kind of. If you are sitting here in the neutral position and then you pull it gently 1 notch, then it'll come about that far. However, if you're in the neutral position and you pull it hard towards you, it comes out just a little bit further and then it locks there. And again, if you pull it towards you again, it'll loosen and go all the way back. But here is where this headrest is extremely frustrating to use, is that if you go ahead and notch it forward 1 bit and then you need to adjust the vertical, and let's say I do that, there's no way that you can adjust the vertical without accidentally pulling the headrest out because the X-axis is extremely loose. So anytime you go to adjust the vertical axis, you will always end up undoing your X-axis. So watch this. You see how it goes all the way back? And no matter what you do, I can go to the far out version and then I go up. Again, it always resets itself and it makes it extremely frustrating to use. This could have been a huge winner here. Also, the fact that this headrest doesn't swivel gives you less flexibility in terms of how you like to lean back on your head, how high or how low you have it on your head as well. The Gruppspel is $300 US, which is significantly cheaper than some of the other chairs I've reviewed. However, because of some of the fatal flaws that I mentioned in this review, I cannot recommend it in good conscience. This year, I am making a focused effort to review more budget-oriented chairs, so make sure you guys get subscribed. And until next time, guys, stay safe, and as always, stay honest.